Hi friends, I am Anushka Chowan studying 10th standard from TTWREIS. In our session, now let's have a brainstorming activity. Can you guess the name of this species? Can you guess the name of this bird? Yes, it is eagle. Can you guess the name of this animal? It really looks like zebra, right? But it is a horse named quagga. Can you guess the name of this species? Yes, it is large copper butterflies. Can you guess the name of this bird? It is macaw. Okay, now let me tell you a small story. Once upon a time, people and animals shared the same earth. They had shared it for a long time. Once there was enough of everything. Enough of food, water, enough of forests, grassy plains for animals and people to share. But the number of people were growing day by day. As more people need more space, our fields, factories, cities, roads and our houses are spreading all over the earth. For some kinds of animals, they left very little space. Some kinds of animals may disappear. These are known as endangered animals. Macaws, pandas, tigers, gorillas are just a few species which are considered as endangered species. All these animals need a homeland where they can freely live their life and raise their young ones. If we take away too much of land from them, then they are going to disappear forever. This is known as extinction. Quagga, a horse belongs to Africa, have been extinct. Dodo, a bird which couldn't fly, is also extinct. Endangered animals need our help. Endangered animals need laws to protect them from hunters and other dangers. Endangered animals need laws to protect the forest and other wild spaces. When we save a homeland for animals, we also save something beautiful for ourselves. And it is the beautiful natural world. So, from the above story, let me ask you some questions. What are the endangered species I have mentioned in this story? Yes, they are tiger, panda, macaws and gorilla. Then, what are the extinct species I have mentioned in this story? Yes, I have mentioned that dodo, a bird which couldn't fly, and quagga, a horse which belongs to Africa. Now, let me sing a song which makes this session joyful. Black fur patches around my eyes, my friends leave me as the day goes by. A bamboo forest where we used to play, I'm left alone, I miss the old days. Cool strides made me fearless and brave, but when my friends were gone, I couldn't save. A wide field we used to gallop away, I'm left alone, I miss the old days. The earth we live in is for all, for humans and for animals. We coexist in a beautiful space, let's share this place. Protect the earth every day, keep it green from today. Help the endangered animals to stay in a peaceful way. In a peaceful way. So, let me ask you some tackle questions from this poem. So, which animal has black fur patches around its eyes? Yes, it is panda. Then which animal have cool stripes on its body? It is tiger. Okay, from the above poem and story, you may hear some words like extinct animals and endangered animals. What do you mean by extinct animals? Extinct animals are the animal species that have stopped breeding, dead and no longer exist. Example, 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 white dolphin, dinosaur, Irish elk and woolly mammoth. Then what do you mean by endangered animals? Endangered animals are the animal species whose number have been reduced drastically and if not conserved will become extinct. Example, tiger, elephant, panda, song thrush, whale. Okay, let me tell you what are the causes of animal extinction. It may be lack of food, it may be climate and pollution, and it may be hunting and overconsumption, it may be habitat loss. More than 900 species have been extincted last over 500 years. A most well-known example is dinosaurs. People believe that its extinction has been caused because of impact of meteors and several volcanic eruptions. And the next one is dodo. Dodo is a bird which lives in moraines and its extinction have been caused in 1680s. Its extinction have been caused because of cats and pigs for the meat. And the next one is the 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 white dolphin. 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 white dolphin used to live in China in Yangtze River. Its extinction have caused in 2000s due to overpollution and overfishing. And the next one is the Irish elk. Irish elk is a species of deer. It has the largest antlers of any deer. So, let me explain all the causes of animal extinction. First one is lack of food. This occurs when an animal don't have enough food to survive. In animal kingdom, one species depend upon other species for food. It is a food chain. Example, lion depends upon deer for food and deer depends upon plants for food. When we destroy the plants, then there will be no food for deer. Ultimately, it will die. Then there will be no food for lion. So, it will also extinct. So, this is a food chain in animal kingdom. So, the next cause is pollution and climate change. What do you mean by pollution and climate change? How pollution is related to climate change? See, when we are releasing some harmful gases into the atmosphere like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, the atmosphere is heating day by day caused by global warming and the temperature is increasing day by day as this affects the melting of glaciers. Because of this, so many animals which lives in the polar region are affected. Example, polar bears and penguins. And the next cause is hunting and overconsumption. What do you mean by this? This is another cause which is caused by our human beings. Our human beings are killing the animals for several things like for horns or for meat. So a good example for this is the black African rhinoceros and they are hunted for their horns. And the next example is the dodo. Dodo is a bird which lives in moraines. Its extinction have caused in 1680s. It lives near to the Madagascar in Indian Ocean and its extinction have been caused by the cats and pig. Dutch people use it to hunt it for the meat. It is a flightless bird, means it couldn't fly. It is very easy to catch it and trap it. Now let's move on to our fourth cause is habitat loss. What do you mean by habitat? Habitat is a place where an animal live, breed and raise their young ones. When the habitat is destroyed or damaged, this is known as habitat loss. A well-known animal which is extinct animal which is suffered by habitat loss is the dinosaurs. And the dinosaurs. Next, it may often caused by human activities such as agriculture, urbanization and deforestation. And a good example for this is the Balinese tiger which lives in Bali in Indonesia. This these tigers' extinction have been caused because of agriculture, urbanization and deforestation. So you might observe this, that in all these causes, human being is the one who is responsible for the destruction of animals and environment. The human being is not at all feeling responsible to the extinction of animals, and he is dreaming about his future and not at all feeling responsible to the protection of animal. So let's move on to our poem, Or Will the Dreamer Wake? In this poem, the students will be able to know about a few endangered species in the 4 directions and their responsibility towards the protection of animals. Before going into our poem, let's know about our poet 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 𝗚𝗃𝗃. 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗃 𝗚𝗃𝗃 is a 21st century poet. She is a well-known writer of present days. She writes about contemporary themes. She is a lyricist, dancer, choreographer as well as a campaigner of social justice. 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 has organized major festivals for human rights, women rights, peace and Earth Day. So let's move on to our first stanza. Out in ice the jungle listens, the tigress plaintive growls in pain. The great trees hear her breathing shaking, inside her still the new lives wait. These cubs could be the last ones ever to freely live and roam and mate. Our grandchild knows the tiger never, or will the dreamer wake? In this stanza, the poet talks about the east direction, and east direction indicates Asia continent. The forests, which are a homeland for tigers, are now able to hear the sad and painful cry of the tiger. And the big trees in this forest are now able to hear the heavy breathing of this tiger. And the question is, why the tiger is breathing heavily? Because she is not at all happy in the situation she is in. She knows that her species are going to become extinct. That's the reason she is breathing heavily and shaking her head. And she is telling that as the animals are going to disappear day by day, these cubs are the last cubs ever to freely live, roam and mate. And she is warning us that if we are not going to protect these animals, then in our future generations we are not going to find tiger as a living thing. Due to deforestation, all these tigers are losing their habitat. So their survival is a question mark for us now. So now let's move to our second stanza. Far in the north the white bear snuffles, down in her lair the gleaming snow. She waits for all the life she's making, outside the crashing glaciers grow. These cubs could be the last cubs ever to freely live and roam and mate. Our grandchild knows the white bear never, or will the dreamer wake? In this stanza, the poet talks about the north direction, and north direction indicates Europe continent. The polar bear is very happy with the snow. She is flying in the snow. But due to the rapid increase in temperature, the glaciers are melting day by day. Why the temperature is increased? Because global warming. Yes, so all these polar bears are now worried, and she is telling that these are the last cubs ever to freely live, roam and mate. And even though she is sensing the danger, she is fully concentrated upon the arrival of her cubs. And she is telling that these are the last cubs ever to freely live, roam and mate. If we are not going to take acts to protect these animals, these polar bears, then in our future generations we are not going to find polar bears as living things, and they will be categorized under extinct species. Let's move on to our third stanza. There in the west, the song thrush warbles, she weaves her nest to hold her clutch. A long wait now to find a partner, the eggs are laid there not much. These chicks could be the last ones ever, the last to fly and sing and mate. Our grandchild knows the song thrush never, or will the dream awake? In this stanza, the poet talks about the west direction, and west direction indicates America continent. Here, the poet talks about a bird named song thrush. The song thrush is singing a beautiful song in the forest, and it fills the forest with joy. As even she is singing the song, she is also weaving her nest. Why she is weaving her nest? To hold her babies. Even though she weaved her nest, she is struggling to find a male partner. Why she is struggling to find a male partner? Because in olden days there are plenty of birds, but now there are only few birds. So the song thrush is struggling to find a male partner. After a long struggle, she found a male partner, and now the eggs are laid, but they are not much. And the song thrush is worried that her species are going to become extinct, and she is telling that these chicks are the last chicks ever, the last to fly, sing and mate. Due to the flying of aeroplanes, radiation and deforestation, all these animals, all these song thrushes are affected. Due to deforestation, the song thrush is losing her habitat. Their survival is a question mark for us now. And the poet is warning us that if we are not going to take measures to protect this song thrush bird, then in our future generations we are not going to find song thrush as a living thing. Now let's move on to our fourth stanza. Deep in ocean, south the whale swims, her song of birthing fills the seas. Thousands of creatures wait the moment the solemn birth that they will see. This chick could sing the final whale song, the last to make the ocean shake. Our grandchild never hears its mystery, or will the dreamer wake? In this stanza, the poet talks about the south direction, and south direction indicates Africa continent. Here, the poet is telling that he is talking about an endangered species which is named as whale, and he is telling that the whale is swimming deep into the ocean and adding beauty to the ocean. Here, the whale is celebrating the last birthday of her child. Why this is the last birthday? Because there are no more whales are going to be born, and thousands of creatures are waiting to witness the divine birth of this whale. Even though all these creatures know that this whale is the last whale which is going to live. That's the reason the word solemn used here. And the whale is telling that if we are not going to protect these whales, then this is the last whale child which is going to sing the song and makes the ocean shake. And due to overfishing, ship trafficking and overpollution, all these whales are affected. And if we are not going to stop this, if it will be continue, then we are not going to find a whale in our future generation. The poet is warning us that if we are not going to realize and take measures to protect these whales, then in our future generation we are not going to find a whale as a living thing, and in our future generations we are not going to hear the mystery of this whale. And the poet is telling that even now we have to realize and we have to take measures to protect these whales. Let's move on to our fifth stanza. Here in the center, 4 directions gather, the path ahead leads up or down. Is this our last bright new world birthing? Is this our waving as we drown? This could be our last true moment. Knowing the truth, our choices make. Our grandchild asks, that was the moment, and did the dream awake? The human beings have destroyed all about the 4 directions in our earth, and we are in the center, which is the junction. So we have just 2 paths, which leads up or down, means our future is uncertain. And if we are not going to, even though now we are not going to realize, and even though we are not going to realize or know the truth, or we should not utilizing this choice, then in our future generations we are not going to find an animal. So here the poet is telling that if we are not going to utilize this choice, this is the last choice which we have. If we are not going to utilize this choice, then it will be like a waving man as he drowned. It appears to others that he is very happy, but it is descending to his death, and he is destructing his own life. So we should not give a scope to our future generation that they question us. So now I want to summarize all this poem. So in this poem, our poet 𝗵𝗏 𝗪𝗃 talks about a few endangered species which are there in the verge of extinction. This is a true picture of few endangered species. In this poem, our poet 𝗵𝗏 𝗪𝗃 concentrated upon a few endangered species in 4 directions like tiger, song thrush, whale and polar bear. And she is telling that if we are not going to protect, then these animals are going to become extinct. And she is telling that even though we should realize and we should take measures to protect these endangered species. So let's go to the conclusion. In this session, the poet talks about the problems of animals in 4 directions. It is a satire on the modern man who is not environmentally conscious. The poet requests the modern people to work for the effective management of the environment. And let's not be selfish and cause threat to the environments. Let's leave all the species so that our coming generations too will enjoy their life. Let's stop pollution, deforestation, global warming to save the environment and to save the life. So, what we should do to protect these endangered species? So, by doing simple things, we can protect these endangered species. First one is to spread the word, and second one is plant native, help replenish the local ecosystem. Third one is avoid harmful pesticides and herbicides that damage native plants and wildlife. Dispose of waste properly. We should recycle the paper, plastic and metal cans, etc. And we have to dispose some harmful chemicals like car fluids, bleach and herbicides and pesticides in a specialized manner. And the 5th point is support an organization that fights to save endangered species. If you want to support this organization, then adopt your favorite endangered species. Now there is a project work for all of you. Collect names of few more endangered animals, what are the projects conducted by Government of India to protect these endangered species. So I want to thank our state government, and I want to thank our beloved secretary sir. I want to thank this TSAT program channel, TSAT channel, and I want to thank my principal madam, 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 madam, and I want to thank my mentor teacher 𝗪𝗫𝗫𝗃 madam, and I want to thank all my friends who have supported me to give this presentation. A very thanks to all of them who supported me.